Today's the 8th day of Advent, and our story is Joseph. We continue to follow this family from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, and now to Jacob's son Joseph. Joseph's one of Jacob's 12 sons, and he stands out because he's the favorite son, and he gets a nice shiny coat to prove it. He also stands out because of his ability to interpret dreams. And both of these things make his brothers very jealous, and so his brothers decide to sell him into slavery in Egypt. And so Joseph goes to Egypt as a slave and then ends up in prison there, but his ability to interpret dreams helps him catch the favor of Pharaoh, and he's released from prison and actually ends up working in Pharaoh's court as one of Pharaoh's right-hand men and helps to avoid the calamity of a large famine that swept over the whole area. And as that famine is going, Joseph's brothers end up going to Egypt for food, where they encounter Joseph. And so Joseph has this opportunity to stick it to them and give them the what for after they've ruined his life. And instead, Joseph offers forgiveness. And Joseph invites the family to come and live in Egypt with him. And he says at the very end of the book of Genesis, in the last chapter, "What you intended for evil, God used for good." It's a powerful story in a lot of ways, including the power of forgiveness and what forgiveness can do, not only for those we forgive, but also the release for ourselves. But I love this last part because it reminds me that there are all sorts of difficult and terrible things that happen in the world, all sorts of evils that befall people, all sorts of things that we don't understand. And we ask God, how could you let this to happen? And yet, I believe that in the midst of all of these things, God continues to work. And God continues to work even through our fallenness to bring about God's reconciliation. Which isn't to say that God causes bad things to happen. I'm not saying that everything happens for a reason or that God makes everything happen. And so bad things are a result of God determining that that's going to happen. But I am saying that even in the midst of bad, even in the midst of evil, even in the midst of things that we cannot understand, I believe that God continues to work through those things to bring about God's will in the world. Not that God makes it happen or God needs it to happen in order that God's will might be done, but God takes even the mistakes, even the fallen things, even the broken things, and works through them so that God's will might be revealed and God's light might be shown in the world. Remember that you are loved, and God's peace be with you.